يا أمة الإسلام بشرى لن يطول بك الهوان قد لاح فجرك باسما فلترقبي ذاك الزمان.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I pray your Ramadan is going well. Please leave a comment below and tell me which of the videos so far have benefited you the most, which of the videos have resonated with you the most, and also give me any suggestions for any topics that you would like me to speak more about or cover more about. Today's dream is one that I had in the early hours of Sunday the 26th of December 2004. So I was in HM Prison Wood Hill in Milton Keynes in the centre of England, and I had been held for about 4 months approximately. And one night, on that particular night, I saw a dream before Fajr that there is a sea and there is a beach, and many people, like beachgoers and people that are there for sunbathing, they've just gone to to the beach. For some reason, they seem to be running away from the sea. They seem to be running away from the coast. So I woke up, prayed Fajr, went back to sleep, didn't think anything of it. I woke up, I prayed Fajr, and at some point I turned my TV on. I had a television in that prison that I was in. I turned on the TV and I saw that there has been a tsunami which eventually it was found out that tsunami would kill almost 250,000 people in several different countries, from Indonesia to Andaman Islands to Sri Lanka to even up to the coast of the east coast of Africa. So I saw this dream before it happened. I saw this natural disaster, this tsunami, and you may remember I'm talking about the Boxing Day Tsunami, the big tsunami that killed almost 250,000 people in, I think it was like 13 countries or something like that around the world. I saw this happen a few hours before it actually happened. What are the lessons from this dream? So, I mean, first of all, it was a major event that took place, and Allah showed it to me in my dream. I don't know why He showed it. He must have a wisdom behind it, or maybe He showed it so that I can share the wisdom that I'm sharing with you now. 3 reflections from natural disasters. Why does Allah create natural disasters? Why does Allah send natural disasters? Earthquakes, floods, tsunamis, volcano eruptions that kill thousands of people in one go. Why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a wisdom in everything that He does. One of the wisdoms behind natural disasters, for example, when there are Muslims who are afflicted, there were many Muslim victims of the tsunami, those that were killed, they are in paradise. They've gone to paradise. But the natural disaster is also an opportunity for others to get to paradise by coming to the aid of those people that have been the victims of that flood or tsunami or earthquake or volcano or whatever. So it's a test for those people that are harmed and killed, but it's also a test for the other people to see how they react. But with this, in one action or one incident, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is able to take thousands of people thousands, or in this case it was we don't know, I mean tens of thousands of Muslims were killed, and this maybe more were killed, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He takes them into Jannah, into paradise as a result of that. The second reflection from this is, as Muslims, we never ask, why does God allow suffering? Why does Allah allow suffering? Or where was God? This is something I've heard sometimes some Christians say that. Sometimes I've heard a lot of people, they use this as a logic for not worshipping God or not believing in God. You know, if God was so merciful and compassionate, why does God allow babies to suffer? Why would God let a 6-month-old baby get cancer? Or why does God allow all of these things? If he was a compassionate and a merciful and a just God, why does he allow all of these things? They have a point, but then they're missing the bigger point. If this was the only life that existed, if the life of this world was the only life, they have a point. That baby is suffering, its parents are suffering, its families are suffering, and what's the point of life? They have a point. And where is God? What type of God would allow something like that to happen? What about a genocide, or what's happening in Gaza, for example, where someone is children are being killed, and other people who are not Muslim, they may say that, oh well, what's the point of this? If there is only the life of this world, yes, they have a point. But if there is a life hereafter, which is the real life, it's everlasting and it's better, then it puts everything in context. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a great wisdom behind everything that he does, and things to us that seem to us to be suffering, maybe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is protecting that person or those people from a greater suffering, or he is protecting them in order to give them something better later. Let's take an example. Imagine there is a baby, and this baby has a tumor in its leg. Doctors have found this tumor, and they've said, we have to operate on this tumor, on this leg, on this baby. We have to operate to take out that tumor. If we don't take that tumor out, it will spread, and it can lead to either the death of the baby, or the baby may need to lose its leg. But if we operate now, it won't have to lose its leg, and we can just take out the tumor, and hopefully the problem will be solved. Now, the surgery process requires the baby to undergo some pain. It's going to have needles put into it. It's going to have like cannulas, and it's going to be put under anesthetic. There'll be some blood, and there'll be some pain for the parents involved. So therefore, what the parents, they decide to do, they say to the doctors that, listen, we cannot put our baby through this pain. We can't put our baby through the pain of some needles and injections. So therefore, we don't want you to carry out this procedure. Imagine that scenario. Who in their right mind would agree that what the parents did was the right thing, because they protected their baby from having the surgery? But then later, in a few years' time, or even a few months' time, the tumor grows, and that baby goes through even more pain and suffering, and that baby dies a very painful death, and the parents and the whole family, they suffer as a result of that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he has put suffering in the world. He puts his servant through suffering in order to give them a higher place and a higher level in Jannah, in paradise, which they would not have reached if they had not gone through that suffering. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't enjoy watching us suffer. He doesn't do it like some type of sick game. Yeah, I'm just going to do this earthquake, just let those people suffer, or I'm going to give this person cancer so that he suffers, so he knows what it's like. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he puts his servant, a believer, when he puts a believer through suffering, he hates to see a believer suffer. Allah hates to hurt us. Just like those parents who agree for that surgery on their baby, and they know it's going to be painful for that baby. They don't like it, they don't enjoy it, but they know they're doing it for a greater good that the baby will see later on, and for its real life that is yet to start. So in the same way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he has great wisdom behind everything that he does, and nor does he enjoy watching us suffer. As Muslims, we never question Allah, we never question his wisdom. Whatever Allah does, even something to us may seem like suffering, we never ask, why is Allah doing this? It doesn't make sense. There's a story in the Bible. I read the Bible when I was in prison, the whole Bible, and there's a story which, I don't know if the story is true or not, but the meaning behind it is true. That Satan comes to Jesus, peace be upon him, and says to him, there's a temple there. He goes, why don't you, if you're a prophet of God, and if God is on your side, why don't you go to the top of this temple and throw yourself off it and see if God saves you? Yeah, he has a point. Satan has a point. If God's on your side, jump off and God will save you. And Jesus, peace be upon him, he replied, it's not for the slave to test the Creator. Rather, it is for the Creator to test the slave. We don't test God. You don't play these tricks like, okay, let me see if God really exists or not, or let me see if God's on my side or not. No, Allah is on your side. Why do you need to test him? Why do you need him to prove his worth? He doesn't need to prove his worth to anyone or for anything. He's the Lord, he's the Creator. It's us that have to prove our worth to him. It's like sometimes when people make dua and they say, oh Allah, do whatever's best. Oh Allah, do whatever you think is best. Oh Allah, give me whichever car you think is best. Oh Allah, let me marry whoever I think is the right person to marry. That's actually wrong. Because when you're saying to Allah, do whatever you think is best, the premise of that dua means that there could be times that Allah may do something for you that is not good for you. So don't say, oh Allah, give me whichever car you think is best. No. Say, Allah, I want the red car. I want the red car with this specifications. Now, if it's not good for you, Allah will give you another one. Oh Allah, I want to marry that particular person. Please let me marry that particular person. And it happens that you're not able to marry that person because it wasn't good for you. So never say when making dua, oh Allah, do this if you want, or do this if you think it's going to be good for me. Because everything he does is always automatically good for you. And the third lesson is sometimes natural disasters happen as a consequence of sin that some people in a community are undertaking, and as a result of that natural disaster, it causes some of them, the sinners, to be purified and the others to return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by means of that natural disaster and what they have seen. So it's not like a punishment, it's like a mercy. So you may have a whole community and a small group of people are sinning in there. The whole community is responsible partly if they do not do anything to stop those people. If they don't stop the sinners, if they don't enjoin the good and forbid the evil and try to stop the sinners, sometimes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala afflicts that whole community with a calamity. By doing so, he purifies the sinners and he makes a means in order for the others to return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So those were some of the lessons from today's video. Please share a comment and just share one lesson that you learned from today's video. Please give me some more feedback on other topics you would like me to cover. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe and leave a comment. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
أمة الإسلام بشرى لن يطول بك الهوان قد لاح فجرك باسما فلترقبي ذاك الزمان يا أمة الإسلام بشرى لن يطول بك الهوان قد لاح فجرك باسما فلترقبي ذاك